Assalamu alaikum. Hello, guys. How is everybody doing tonight? Today we are here with what? Conversations with Barakah The Muslimah. So I'm so grateful that you all decided to join me. I hope that as like last week on Thursday, that I get some questions that I can answer for you guys about whatever you guys want to talk about. Okay, so. Anyway, so today is going to be about protecting your peace in a loud world, right? So, as we all know, this world is constantly, moving, right? You got TV, the traffic. I mean, everybody's going somewhere, everybody's doing this. It's just always constant movement. So, how do you find peace in that space, And sometimes you really have to separate and be intentional on doing that, because if not, you could be overwhelmed. We talk a lot about, our social battery and having social anxiety and things of that nature. And with the chaos of the world today, you run into that a lot more. So the constant noise from social media. So there's definitely different levels to that noise, right? It's that initial, I have a page, I want to just follow people, post things, right? So that starts the first level of that. And then you add on, now people are asking to be your friend and follow you. And then now you got to consider what to post, what not to post, who to let in your, private yet public social media world, and to what degree. So, that's already a lot of noise. And then it's like you're constantly seeing through your social media, not only things about the world that we're living in, the war, the disputes in various countries, but just the day-to-day hustle of comparing your life to everyone else's life, and seeing one thing on the TV and then, wanting something else for your life. So all of that is a part of trying to find that peace in there. So what has been created with so much social media and so many eyes on everything that we're doing is the comparison culture. So most of the times you get stuck trying to figure out if I'm doing enough, if I'm not doing enough, should I wear this? Should I not wear this? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Oh, they're doing that. They're doing this. I mean, it is beyond me. There's different people. You might find somebody on social media that is 15 and, has already become a millionaire on as a Instagram or something influencer, right? And then you may have somebody that at 50 does one post that goes viral, and now they have deals, they have sponsorships, you just don't know. And then of course you have people that may be on social media sharing their day-to-day life experiences, and maybe things aren't so great, So you start comparing where you are compared to where someone else is, or where you think you should be. And that starts disturbing your peace, right? Because one thing about it is God created each one of us individually. So your mom, your dad, right? But even bigger than that, it goes down to your personality, your different mannerisms, and then the things that you were taught and the things that you saw culturally that help you grow and expand, who you are and your identity. So, of course, that's something that, we're always considering, right? What are we supposed to be doing next? I should try to do this page. Oh, I should try to start this. You have to find the peace and the quiet within the noise. And sometimes that could be very stressful. And then you're running into emotional exhaustion where you never really know, am I winning? Am I losing? What's happening? How can I move forward when I'm looking at everybody else doing all these things and I haven't made it there, or, they started at 30 and they're already, a millionaire, they're already rich, right? Or you see people on there that may be 50 and already are just starting, but then they blow up, right? It's just, but just to watch it and to see so much movement, so much reactive behavior. We're always reacting to what's happening. The phone is ringing. The text is happening. Oh, an email is supposed to be coming. Oh, I was supposed to send that. I mean, we have to learn how to be proactive. We have to learn how to be intentional. And we have to find ways that create peace, even if for a very limited time, day to day. And for, Muslims, it's supposed to be, make your salat, 5 times a day. You're taking a moment to be peaceful and to talk to Allah. And so we need to make sure that we're utilizing that with complete removal of any distractions in our environment to the best of our abilities, because Allah knows that, people are working, people are, taking care of kids, but to the best of your ability, make that salat time an intentional time to talk to God, to release from your mind and your energy and your spirit all of the chaos, all of the noise. And a lot of those things you can just give to God and ask God to help clear those things out of your mind, clear those things out of your heart, and walk alongside you as He does. So another one of those things that you have to be able to do is create boundaries and stand on those boundaries, right? So if you know that for you have to get up at a certain time to give yourself the space you need for you to start your day in the best way, then you have to be intentional and set that boundary that you do not allow people to be in that space during that time, because it's yours. If there's a particular day during the week, a lot of people, it may be Friday, for Jumu'ah, and then the rest of your afternoon, it could be Sunday. Some people just, that's their relaxed day. It could be a day during the week, but whatever day that is that you generally say, I'm taking this time, you have to stand on that. You can't say, well, if you reach out, I'll try to squeeze. You have to have boundaries, because your mind, your body needs peace, relaxation, and the ability to, recoup after having dealt with the chaos of the day-to-day. So intentional living, as I said, being intentional about the things that make your day smoother, being intentional with the people and the places and the things that you allow in that space that may create frustration or, chaos or, whatever disturbance it may cause. You have to be very intentional about removing that from your space. And then learning how to, even if it's a stressful situation and you have to deal with it for one reason or the next, knowing how, when, and what your capacity is, so that okay, I'm willing to do this, but I can't do that, It's very important. So choosing peace over performance. Sometimes we get caught up by doing. And I had someone ask me, a therapist asked me, why do you feel like you have to do and not just be? Quite often, we feel like we have to do a lot. We have to perform. We have to be okay. We have to be in the mix, in the know, in the, activity. But the truth is, you could just say no. If it's going to stretch you too far, if it's going to remove peace from you, and not that everything is going to be easy, because with hardship comes ease. And remember, it is with hardship comes ease. It is not hardship or ease. There will be hardship and there will be ease. With the hardship will come, ease. So you have to know that those things are coming. And that's another reason why it's important to choose your peace and be intentional. Protecting your mental and spiritual space. Like I said, if, you know that you're going to have to pray, 1 or 2 prayers at work, creating a space that you can pray, quietly, and then making it known to those that may be, close enough where you need to protect that space. Depending on where you are, you may need more protection in those areas. But alhamdulillah, you learn how to protect that space and make sure that you have mental and emotional and spiritual, clarity, because that allows you to move in alignment with the purpose that God put us on the earth for. Because I do believe and know that each of us are here for a reason, that God is putting us here to be a servant to him, to share his word, to provide, to give dawah to people about Islam, and to know and to teach people about God. And it really is important that we focus on that and that we do that every day, because God is the one who created us to be who and how we are. And he wants us to really work. He wants us to do these things together. And I mean, even for me, as I get older, quiet, calm. Let's not, I used to be going. Anybody who knows me, I was going. And as one of my good friends says, my get up and go left. And I had to be intentional, and I had to choose, what do I really have the space for? What really, allows me to renew that spirit when I'm weak? And of course, like I said, salat, right? But also dua, talking to Allah, thanking God for everything that he has done for us, everything that he's doing that we don't know, everything that he did before we could even understand what was happening to be even brought into this world. And that, for me, allows some space and peace. When the world is chaotic and my mind, is chaotic, I will pick up my Quran. I will read a couple, a juz or a few pages of a juz, and just try to give myself time to be one with, talking to Allah, to, getting things off of my chest. Because at the end of the day, Allah is guiding you. Allah is the best of planners. Allah is the greatest. Like, mashallah, he is the greatest, and he is the leader of your path. He is the one directing you to the next level of what you're supposed to be doing here while on this earth, So I just want to make sure that, you guys fully understand, that we are in this life together, as neighbors, as co-workers, as friends, and as family. And it's very important that we find peace within ourselves, but then that we create an environment of peace for others that, are in our space, and that, we respect other people's peace. Because one thing that may make you feel away, and peaceful, may not be the same thing. And I'm learning that no matter how you try to love someone, or how you try to find or to give a place of comfort and peace, depending on what that need is from that other person, you may be, missing the mark. And then all that's being caused within you is frustration and, feeling unappreciated and things of that nature. And so you have to take the time to know what motivates you, know what, what Allah has for you, know what creates the peace in your heart and mind, and being intentional on creating that space for yourself, because it's just too much. Right? So a couple things that I would love for you to ask yourself is, what has helped you protect your peace lately? I personally, like I said, as I get older, noise, loud, like disrespect, aggressive conversations, those things really stress me out, honestly. So I don't communicate with people that I know, bring that type of frustration or irritation out of me. I don't put myself in spaces where that environment is going to cause me, irritation and frustration, because I don't want to feel that way, just within myself, but also about another person, especially if it's somebody that I care about. So I'm learning to give myself that space to be in my quiet and have my peace, because you have to create that space for yourself. And I mean, Allah has helped me. And I tell people that recently I realized that being Muslim has created a comfortable space where I can stand on my beliefs and my personal boundaries because of whatever experiences and trauma I may have had in my life. It allows me to say, I can love you from afar, but I don't have to have you in my inner circle. I do not have to communicate with you if your life and the way you communicate and the way you deal with me creates bad feelings and being upset. I can learn to do that. And so I am creating my own space of peace. So, do you struggle more with overthinking or overstimulation? So it really depends. Overthinking probably more for me because I'm thinking all the time. So that, I struggle with that consistently. Overstimulation, I generally get overstimulated in environments where there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of moving, there's a lot of, activity. I'm trying to focus on one thing and so many distractions. I get overstimulated. Too much talking and engaging, for long periods of time. I can get overstimulated. But again, because I'm creating my own world of peace, I try to limit those environments. Like life is happening and we're living here in the world and we're working and we're dealing with people. So I'm going to interact with people and I'm going to get overstimulated sometimes. But I try to, one, prepare myself for my day in areas that I know I may be going to, that there'll be a lot of people, there'll be a lot of conversations being had. I may be pulled one way or the other, depending on what it is. And so if I know that, I give myself a little bit more grace. I give myself a little more time to get going in the morning. Like I usually jump up and get ready quickly, but in those situations, I may get up a little earlier so that I can, eat and have coffee while sitting and then give myself time to read or listen to, Quran recitation or a YouTube, podcast or video of a sheikh or a scholar speaking about Islamic matters and, giving encouragement related to Allah, but also giving you solid advice and understanding on the way things work. And so when I know I'm getting ready for that type of environment, I prepare and I am intentional. And also, even when I go places, I then, in the car before I get out, I'm praying and I'm talking to Allah, like, to slow down my breath, to lessen the anxiety, to prepare my mind that I can make it through whatever, activity I may be participating in, and just wanting to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can do on my end to make the situation as calm and peaceful as, it can be, right? So, this topic is, kind of near and dear to me because in this place where I am and a lot of my other friends and, peers, in their middle 40s are experiencing a lot of things like perimenopause and just exhaustion because, most of the people I know, were getting going on their own at 18, like really out here, and then even if it was a couple years later, myself, I moved into my own, I was moved to the dorm at 18, but at 19, I, moved into my own apartment. And from there, it was adult April, right? And I was ripping and running and working full time and, trying to make sure that bills were paid and things were taken care of. And then the chaos just started right then. And so I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I have been able to now start working on a better space of peace and calm because it is, needed more than anything, alhamdulillah, I thank God for that. So I do want to again, end with the Al-Fatiha, and this is for any new Muslims that don't know it, and I know I probably can correct some things, and I will definitely do that, but also God knows my heart and my intentions. And so as we close this out, like I said, I just want to recite the Al-Fatiha for you guys, or with you guys, as a closeout. So A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Allah loves you. I love you, mashallah, that we continue to grow and learn from each other. Make sure to tune in every Thursday for conversations with Barakah The Muslimah. If you have any questions in between time, in the meantime, as they say, feel free to send me a message. And if you have any questions about the other lives that I do, financial literacy, excuse me, proper insurance protection. I am a licensed insurance agent. And or if you have questions about real estate, I am a licensed realtor, member of the Atlanta Board of Realtors, and powered by the brokerage of Better Homes and Gardens, real estate with Metro Brokers. I look forward to speaking to you guys again on Saturday. I will be going live in person, and I will be sending out some information because you could show up and be on my live with me. So I look forward to that as well. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Assalamu alaikum.